Art. It can surprise us, make us feel, and make us think. I'm Amy Amantea, and I live with a profound sight loss. And I love art in all its forms. This is ArtForm, hip-hop.
Hip-hop it's a feeling, and it's a look.
It's graffiti, it's breakdancing, it's rapping, it's producing.
It's that exaggerated emotion that really gives hip-hop power.
I like being able to bob my head to the rhythm and just feeling the flow of the song.
Hip-hop is more than just music, it's a culture. But as a style of music, it's become the most dominant worldwide.
Got me staying up all night, waiting for my phone to shine.
Hip-hop is a musical art form that I would argue, unlike any other musical genre, allows you to be yourself.
Meet Calvonics, otherwise known as Calvin Chew.
What started, in the early 70s and 80s in, the black community in the ghettos of wanting to speak out about being oppressed, it kind of gave them a space where they can express themselves, be angry, show the ugliness that was going on. And for me, I knew that I didn't come from that community, but I wanted to tell my story. So I use hip-hop as a mode to express my anger, my love, my sadness, my happiness with growing up and living life for cerebral palsy.
Show you what your heart's worth. Put a cripple to a mic. Is it cripple music or is it music from a cripple and you vibing to it? The point is, nothing define me but rhyme schemes and my shine time. It's blinding, despite cerebral palsy and whatever you call me. There's a blind rhyme combined with the truth. It's all me.
I mean, I was always in a musical family. At 2 years old, I was singing I Will Always Love You, Whitney Houston. Not well, but I was singing it.
But Calvin's outgoing and musical personality was challenged when he started elementary school.
In my early elementary days, I was bullied quite harshly, and I was very quiet as a result. So I was, called things like cripple or four legs because I had crutches. I was told that my parents don't love me and they're gonna give me away one day, they just haven't told me yet. And then it got physical, so by the time I got to grade 4, I was tied to flag posts. I was whipped with skipping ropes. And it was so confusing because I would feel all of this at school and then come home and be showered with love. So it was like, what's going on? So I remember coming home one day crying to my mom, saying, "Mom, why do I have this disability? I hate it, I don't want it, take it away from me." And my mom didn't miss a beat. She just took me in her arms. I grew up in a very religious family, and so my mom was like, Calvin, I truly believe God put you on this earth for a reason. You have this disability for a reason, and you're gonna use it someday to help people.
I was shy in school, but music showed my personality. My only friends were my cousins in the family. I thought of rap as a gift God handed me.
Calvin's musical perspective shifted when a cousin snuck him an Eminem album.
I found that Eminem found his confidence when he put the pen to the paper and he started writing about his experiences. And he can take all of those experiences where he felt so belittled and make it powerful. I was like, I want to do that. This is what I'm meant to do.
Should I pursue this? I don't smoke weed, so can I be the truest? Music is my drug, so hell yeah, I abuse it. I just wanted all of y'all to feel the vibe. All I want is to just make you feel alive. Play my music, play my music.
I don't really know of too many artists with disabilities that are doing hip hop, and it's great to hear about Calvonics.
Meet 77 Spokes, also known as Greg Labine.
I just hope there will be more. I hope that there'll be more that make it to the spotlight and get recognized, and then that will normalize it for other people knowing that it is possible to be in a wheelchair and to be a big time rapper and to make it.
And Greg knows, rapping from a wheelchair himself since 1995. But he thinks seeing more artists like himself would have had a profound influence on his musical career.
Although I did give it my all over the years, but I probably would have worked harder specifically to take it to a next level, knowing that it's possible. And just to know that it's possible is what we don't have.
We don't appreciate today. More than not, we got a lot more than we thought, so we ought to stop wishing we bought more.
When I first started, I was in high school, so I was in grade 10. So I was 15 years old and I just started rapping, freestyling with my friends. We would put on beats and record on cassette tapes in the Ghetto Blaster. We loved it. We fell in love with it, and we would freestyle, and we would, quite honestly back then, yes, was I drinking? Yes, was I smoking? Yes, I got high. And so that little group of us that started it in high school, we formed a group. And then we did a bunch of shows around the Vancouver circuit. And then after that, I kind of broke out on my own.
Greg became a regular in the local underground rap scene and consistently produced new music. And over the years, as he changed, so did his music.
I don't actually smoke and drink anymore. I did quit those things. So there's certain things I write about. So basically faith, hope, and love.
My rock when the sand is sinking, got it locked even when I forgot what I was thinking. Spirit
If those topics surprise you, then it's time to expand your definition of hip-hop past the old gangster rap stereotype.
Artists that I've worked with and everything, it's all creativity, it's just expression from the heart, and it's really just being yourself and putting it out there. It's music at the end of the day.
If I follow my dreams, I seize the day, put on my high beams and speed away. Seize the opportunities God is giving me, being who I love to be. Number my days, never run away. When I got something to say, just gonna pray. Take all the turn through the fog and burn through the smog to sun rays.
There's so much hip hop out there now that there's something for everybody, really.
Meet producer Curb the Kid, also known as Corbin Parker.
I loved the producing thing ever since the first time I tried it. Ever since I got a digital audio workstation, which is where you would make beats on your computer.
But his musical ambitions were put on hold when a serious accident meant Corbin had to literally fight for his life.
I'd gone into a coma, had severe brain damage. Doctors told my dad that I probably wouldn't make it, and so maybe something was watching over me, because I came out of it. I'm still dealing with a lot of these issues and these past or these things that I'll deal with for the rest of my life when it comes to the brain trauma, but I have the music to be able to fall back on and to remind myself every day that it's going to be all right.
After the break, it's time to drop the beat and learn how it's done when we return to ArtForm, hip-hop. Welcome back to ArtForm, hip-hop.
If I hear a beat from a producer that I'm working with, I will let it resonate with me for a couple weeks, and then something will come to me.
Greg, 77 Spokes Labine, lets us in on his creative process.
I don't always hit the mark. Sometimes I'm way off, so I have to rewrite it. And then I have to write it again, and then I show my wife. And I'm like, how does this sound? She's like, no. I finally get it eventually, but it takes a lot of rewrites.
Alternatively, for Calvin Calvonics Chew, it starts with an idea or feeling, often inspired by a movie, book, or poem.
Once I have the story, just the general idea of what I want to say in the song, that's when I start working on rhymes. I'll kind of start with the end of a sentence. So for example, I'll start really basic, let's just say I had the word hat, right? So I'll put hat at the top of the page. And then it's okay, what rhymes with hat? Brat, cat, sat. So I would kind of figure out what rhymes with that word, put whatever I like the best, whatever word I like best, put it beside hat. And then go back to my story with all those sentences and see if I can make a sentence out of those.
Since inspiration can hit at any time, Greg keeps a running collection of rhyming lines on his computer.
Sometimes it'll only have 1 or 2 lines. Save it, close it, put it in the file. And then once I'm working on a song, I'll go back to those files, pick and choose different topics.
Greg logged on to his PC and we checked out one of his files.
Basically, I'm just taking the mood of the beat and I'm making lyrics to it in a type of song I feel would fit. And of course, it has to be something coming from me that I'm experiencing as well. So this is a song that I worked on from a beat that my friend sent me, my producer, and I liked the vibe of it and I wanted to make it about my faith and just do a tribute to my God kind of thing, and just kind of that he's my rock, he's my salvation. And when I had got the vibe of the beat and put lyrics to that, it just came out really good, and I think it's got quite a good hook.
Tell me what a hook is, because I don't know what a hook is.
Okay. So a hook is just a chorus. It's basically like the catchy middle part of the song between the verses. So what I do is I start by recording into my phone an idea, and then, like, for example, when I hear the beat from my producer, I'll record a hook on my phone while playing the beat out loud. So I'll just record it over top, and then if I like what I do, then I would keep that idea, write it all out, finalize it, and go to a proper recording studio.
Gotcha, okay.
They made me a show mix. So it's actually the beat with some of the ad-libs in there. So I thought what I would show you is me rapping on top of that, the show mix.
With lyrics on screen, Greg hits record on his phone's voice memo app.
Ja, ja, ja. We sit up in a tower every day, never showers, never rains, never cloudy, never pain. Better now, but get a powerful hunch. Something with your bucket come snuff out my flame.
Hard to love when you can't give it up, can't let it go. Echoes of past regret blow up in your face. No wonder why you're stuck in your ways. The shame inside is too much, you're carried away.
I don't profess to be a songwriter myself, but I love the idea of creating and collaborating. And you and I have done some artistic projects in the past, and so you know that I wrote a protest song.
Yes.
Called Nothing About Us Without Us. Now, it is not a rap. It is not a hip hop genre.
Right.
But I wonder if we can play with some of those lyrics and see if we can create something to a beat. Greg selected a track, and I got myself ready.
This might be too fast, but just try it maybe.
I don't know if I can do it, but I'm gonna try it. So we start with, what did you call that? Like ad-libbing, where you just protest.
Yeah.
Protest.
Yeah.
Protest. Protest. We seek justice for the atrocities of the past. From the abuses, the excuses, and the amuses of the masses. It's time now to come to a place of healing. No more concealing or appealing, only sharing and revealing.
Wow, you killed it. Yeah.
Wow, having a good beat makes a real difference. And that's where producers like Corbin, Curb the Kid Parker, come in.
You know, depending on the genre that I'm making, you know, sometimes it calls for samples from other music, you know, sampling but making it my own, right?
And that sampling goes right back to the 1970s and hip-hop's roots in the Bronx.
People didn't have instruments, so they took their parents' old records from like a record box and they mixed their records together to find the breaks, and you know, it was really funk and like jazz and all these different types of music, right? And then they just play one drum break, play the second drum break, and then put them together. And it's quite magnificent, like what people can do with their minds when they put their minds to it. Create a new genre of music that will captivate the world one day.
The consensus is that people would start with these block parties, and people would do this MC, and in the break in the music they'd repeat a couple lines that rhymed. Very early part of it was political, like life on the streets, the struggles on the streets.
Brandon Krupa is host of Unsigned BC, a radio show that features independent musicians.
The genre is inherently collaborative with the producer-rapper sort of relationship. Some of the biggest songs in hip-hop are because of the beats. and you'll know the rapper's name. You know, like, oh, that was Lil Baby or whatever, but you don't know the guy behind the scenes who's made the actual music.
When an artist collaborates on a project with, say, a producer, and then there's two other artists saying their own verse or their own lyrics, that it can bring, like, you know, you say like four minds can do better than one, right?
Coming up on ArtForm, hip hop. Corbin and I put our two minds together as we go behind the mixing board. You're watching ArtForm, hip hop.
I just about make a beat almost every day. Sometimes I'll end up with 3 in a day. You know, I put my emotions into this art, and, you know, I try to get my certain feelings out into this, you know, this type of music that I'm making, and just like an artist or a painter would.
Like most hip-hop producers, Corbin's canvas is a laptop, which he popped open on a giant mixing board at the studio we were at.
Everything that's on here,
On the mixing board?
on the mixing board, is transferable to what is on the programs that I use.
Since Greg helped me with my rapping, Corbin suggested we try creating a beat for my lyrics.
All right, I'm just gonna start off with just putting some keys down. So just like get a melody going. These are just preset sounds that I already have on here. Mm-hmm. So I feel like those lyrics that you had were like a little bit, they're very serious, right? Mm-hmm. So you kind of want to go with a chord progression that's more like serious.
Right, right.
Because these are...
Got more of a dramatic undertone instead of it being happy.
Starting to already sound like a song, right?
Yes. We just heard piano. Is that the beat, or is there going to be a drum that you're going to add in under that?
Yeah, so I like to just get down, like, say, like, like I said, the chord progression, right? So we got the bass line.
Corbin finished adding the drums and the snares and gave me some pointers.
We seek justice, kick, for the atrocities, kick, of the past, snare.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We seek justice for the atrocities of the past, for the abuses, the excuses, the amuses of the masses. Time now to come to a place of healing. No more concealing or appealing, only sharing and revealing.
There you go.
And a hip-hop artist is born!
Banger.
It took a bit of coaching and a few false starts, but getting those words to match the beat felt great. Which for Corbin is what it's all about.
That right sound finally hits my ear, and it's like a snap, and then it's like a euphoric. My hair stands up on my arms, and I'm like, oh, this is it, and I just know.
According to radio producer Brandon Krupa, the accessibility of production has revolutionized the genre, allowing more voices to be heard.
It typically was homophobic traditionally, ableist. So it's kind of this interesting dichotomy of the fact that it's this avenue for people who are struggling to express their struggles and sort of be welcomed into this community, but at the same time, it's not exactly the most welcoming community traditionally. I would say that has changed. And it became more acceptable to talk about things like mental health, and it became more acceptable to say, you know, I'm not a drug dealer, I'm a drug user, and I use drugs for these reasons, and these are the things that I'm struggling through. I think hip hop it's more dynamic than people think. It's got all different subgenres. People talk about all different sorts of topics. It's really, it's got something for everybody, I think, is the main thing. It's not just bravado, it's not just masculinity. If you want to find somebody talking about your issues, you will find that.
The genre's evolution has allowed the whole culture to feel more inclusive. So, whether they're singing a hook like Calvonics, or rapping about faith like 77 Spokes, or laying down that next catchy beat like Curb the Kid, audiences can always expect them to be creating and making music.
I want my listeners to be like, Calvonics makes me feel good, honestly. Because that's what music has done for me, and I can only hope it does the same for them when they hear me.
Everything is good right now. I feel like my dreams have already come true. Being married and just happy with this, what I have. But it's also another dream to like keep on progressing with music, and I can't stop. I just keep on writing, I keep on putting out. Every time, I've still got a hope that this one will be heard by more people.
The music that I'm making, it could have ended on that day with the car accident, and I you know, there wouldn't be a curb anymore, but I can continue to make music and create music, and you know, it's going to be a hard thing, and it's going to be a struggle, but I think, you know, art knows no boundaries, really.
Host, Amy Amantea. Producer and director, Emmett Tandon. Videographer and editor, Sergio VERA-BARAHONA. Media accessibility specialist, Simone Cupid. Audio post, Mark Phoenix. Graphics, Andrew Antonello. Senior producer, Michelle Dudis. President and CEO, David Errington. Copyright, 2021, Accessible Media Inc.